What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Verdict back with another banger, and guess what? We've got stage 4 literally right around the corner. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a very, very intense month of August, and I gotta say, with World Championships right around the corner, only a certain amount of spots available for each region, this is going to be a spicy month. August is made for Call of Duty Mobile. Taking a look at the website, some things that I wanted to point out too is how the format is, laid out and how everything is working. I know a lot of people had questions about how Swiss style elimination bracket works. We're going to be covering that and more on this video, and what it will take for your team to make it on to the next stage. Obviously, we've got to take a look at the rules first, but all right, stage 4 regional playoffs rules segment. I went ahead and just zoomed in so you guys can go ahead and skip all that, because this is a lot to go through, ladies and gentlemen. But what I went ahead and did is I scrolled down here. I've got this particular portion of the rule set highlighted for a reason, and this is pretty much going to explain how your team can make it to that second day, the double elimination tournament, where in each different region you'll have a specific amount of teams allowed to move forward from there. We'll go over that and all as soon as I run through this. So the stage format: players will compete in teams and matches against the other advancing teams from the same eligible jurisdiction in a 2-stage regional playoff tournament. Basically what this is saying is teams will play each other, in 2 formats on 2 different days, in which we'll cover in just a moment here too as well. And it's going to be a regional playoff. They had to have qualified from a previous regional playoff, which again, if you're NA, it's stage 3, EU the same. The first stage of each regional playoff will be conducted in a Swiss elimination format. What's a Swiss elimination format? Basically, it's going to pair teams against opponents based off of a few things. Seeding is one of those, and stage 3 seeding is crucial, and I'll explain that in a moment too. We'll get to that and highlight that. But it's also not going to particularly eliminate a team from losing off the bat. You could say that this tournament, this format, is basically a double elimination, but you would be wrong. The right thing would be to say if you lose 2 in a row, you're pretty much out, and that'll be covered right here too, where all 8 qualifying teams will be seeded and play their first match based on their final placement in the regional qualifier. Stage 3 if you're in NA and EU and LATAM. Following the conclusion of the first matches, teams will then only play teams in subsequent matches that have the same win and loss record, and will have matchups drawn based on their final placement of teams from the regional qualifiers. So we'll say team number 1 finished first place, team number 8 finished last. They're all going to face off in 4 matches based off their seeding. So it'll be team 1 versus team 8, team 2 versus team 7, team 3 versus team 6, I'm sorry, and then team 4 versus team 6. That is going to be how that first set of matches is going to look like, and I don't know how the seeding is going to look. I have it set out, but we would have to go into a little bit more details. I'll have to get a little bit more information based off of how that works. Now, from there, team 1 wins. They're going to be moving on to face off against someone in the second round of the Swiss elimination with someone who also won. So we'll say, for example, team 2 won. They will then move on to face off against someone who's also 1-0. So teams who lost will face off against each other based off of seeding. Obviously, if you've got a team 2 who, plays second in stage 3, this is situational. If team 2 loses and they move on to face off against someone who has also lost, they'll face off against the lowest seed team. So say team 8 loses, they will then face team number 2 because of that ranking from stage 3. There's a lot of hypotheticals. There's a lot of situations that could happen in that particular instance, but we'll just take it for face value. We'll say teams 1, 2, 3, and 4 win. And from there, the second round, team 1 would then also face team number 4. Team number 2 would face number 3, and so on and so forth. On the loser side of things, the teams that are 0-1, the seeds will be placed very similarly. So where do we leave off here? Found a placement team in regional playoff. Each team will play matches until they either win 2 matches or lose 2 matches. Basically, the first to 2 are going to be moving on. And we'll see how that pans out in the bracket that we'll take a look at here in a moment. But this is such a huge chunk of information. This is, I mean, this is not a double elimination, but if you lose 2 off the bat, you're out. You don't have a chance. Teams who have achieved or who have won 2 matches will move to the second stage of the regional playoffs, while teams who have lost 2 matches will be eliminated from the regional playoff and the tournament. Basically, if you lose 2 off the bat, you're out. We've already discovered that. The second stage of each regional playoff will consist of a 4-team double elimination bracket. Teams who win their first second stage match will advance to the next round of the winner's bracket. Teams who lose a match will be sent to the elimination bracket. Teams who lose 2 matches then will be eliminated. Basically the same as day number 1, but this is a double elimination style bracket. It doesn't matter if you win, or if you lose the first round. If you go into the second round, you win, you have a chance to come back. And we'll take a look at how that bracket works. And, we'll go through hypotheticals as well. So the final 2 teams who compete in stage 4 regional playoffs match will play in the championship match. That'll be the grand finals, and that'll determine who gets what of the prize pool. And there's a massive amount of a prize pool that's out for grabs too. So match formats, we won't really go over that. I mean, we'll run through it real quick. Each stage 4 match, other than the championship match of each regional playoff, shall be conducted as a best of 5. That's interesting. I love the fact that it's a 5-game series instead of a best of 3. Championship matches between the final 2 teams in each regional playoff shall be conducted as a best of 7, where the team who came from the winner's bracket will have a 1-map advantage. So basically the same thing that happened in stage 3. If you won all the way through to the grand finals, you got that 1-map advantage. You're going to be up 1-0, and that means there's only a 6-game spread. Oops, I just accidentally hit my my space bar. Nonetheless, advancement. This is huge. Why? Because this means and determines what you have to do to get there. North America, the top 3 teams, as determined by the North American Regional Playoff, will advance to stage 5. 3 teams from NA, 3 teams from EU, 3 teams from LATAM, 2 teams from India. That is massive. In Japan, only the winning team will move on to stage 5. So, prizing, this is massive. $30,000 for the first place team, $15,000 for the second. Good night. $12.5K for third, $10 for fourth, $2,500 apiece for 5th and 6th, because there's not a way to determine who's 5th or 6th. 7th and 8th are going to get $1,250 apiece, the same as 5th and 6th. So this is so huge. Regional partner tournaments, certain teams may qualify for participating in stage 5 by participating in certain regional tournaments. Masters, if we had it. China, the top 2 ranked teams as determined by the China regional tournament match, will advance. Southeast Asia, the top 2 teams ranked as determined by the Southeast region partner tournament will advance stage 5. And then stage 5, that's a whole nother deal. So taking a look at this, how this is going to work. Round number 1, team 1 versus team number 1 is going to be your first place seed. That's going to be if you're NA Tribe or if you're EU Nova. They're going to be facing off against whoever is ranked 8th seed. Now, I went through the brackets in the Stage 3 tournament that we were able to broadcast live, and I've got to say, I couldn't decipher between who was 5th and 6th and who was 7th and 8th, so I couldn't put a hypothetical here, but situationally speaking, it'll be Tribe versus team number 8, who plays 8th in the tournament. In this bracket right here, the bottom side is going to consist of team who ranked 2nd, which would be on Dream. They're going to be facing off against the 7th place team. In this bracket slot, you're going to have team number 4, who is going to be facing off against... Oh, no, this is team number 3. We're going to have to pause here for a second. It's 1, 2, 3... No, 3, 4. So it'll be team 4 right here versus team 5. In this slot, we're going to have team 3 versus team 6. And this is where it gets interesting right here. Team 1 wins. They move over to the upper round bracket. They're 1-0. They're cool for the time being. They're going to be facing off against the lowest seed that won in the first round. So we'll say team 6 won. they're going to be able to face off against that team per the seeding. Here, we'll say team 2 and 3, or 2 and 4 1, because team 3 would face team 6, and we're saying team 6 1. It'd be team 3 and team 4 here in this particular instance, and seeding prevails yet again. So if you finish first in stage 3, you set yourself up pretty proper to have pretty much not a breezy schedule, but not the worst in this Swiss style elimination. The lower round bracket is the exact same. Team 8 lost, so they're going to be facing against the highest ranked seed that lost, which, you know, for this hypothetical was team number 3, and they will face off right here, and the winner of that one is still alive. The loser of this one is eliminated. So if you lose twice back to back, first round, second round, you're out. If you win this one, this is your last chance. And per, you know, the conversation we've had, we'll say team 1, which again could be, I believe it's Tribe and it's Nova and EU. We'll just say that they get that 6th place team and they beat them and they move on here. This is where you're advanced. As long as you win your first 2 series, you're guaranteed a seat for day number 2, and that is where you want to be at. If you're fighting in this particular spot, this is make or break. All right. I don't know if they're going to play these matches out, or if they're going to play these matches out and continue to play these matches out. I'm assuming they probably won't, based off of the prize pool. The way it's structured, team 7 and team 8 get the same amount, so it doesn't matter who wins 7th or 8th. The same for 5th and 6th. It's all about who makes it to day 2 and who's going to be winning, you know, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That's where the prize is differential. If you take a look at day 2, you're going to have 4 teams that move on. So the teams that won off the bat the first 2 matches, they're going to be the higher seeds, I'm assuming, per their, or I don't know if they're going to do it like stage 3 seeding still. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but hypothetically, if it were, the seeding would, be based off of how it was for stage 3, and they'll keep that. I don't know if that's going to be the same, or as if they're going to be based off of how the semi or the Swiss style format worked out. So if you make it through these matches right here, you've got gold. Okay, so all you got to do is win 2 before you lose 2. That is basically how this Swiss style elimination works. So the teams who remain 2-1 or 2-0, the same thing. These 4 teams are going to be moving on. The rest will be eliminated. Day 2, the way it works is teams will face off, and this is a double elimination style. So if you lose your first series, you've got a little bit of a cushion, but let's be fair. If you're facing off against the, top 4 teams after day 1, there's no cushion, okay? Stage 4 will be first semifinal versus in second semifinal. So team 1 versus team 4, team 2 versus team 3. Elimination will move on here. If you lost your first series and you lose your second, you're out. If you win this one, you move on to the elimination finals. This is the winner semifinals right here. Winner of this one moves on and gets that 1 game bye in the best of 7 for the grand final spot. The loser of this one goes on to face off against the winner of the elimination semifinal, and this will be the elimination finals. Winner of this matchup will then move on to face off against the team with the upper hand in the grand final. So I don't know if I've gotten that, taken care of as far as information-wise, but the team who loses here does not have a spot in stage 5. So if you lose that first series and that second series, your stage 5 dreams out the window. You get a 4th place prize pool, which is pretty substantial, $10,000, but you don't have a seat at the table to continue on and continue the journey for stage 5 hopes. Now, what I will say is, based off of what we saw in the past, stage 4 seeding, just like stage 3 seeding, is going to be massive. Why? Because we saw that group of death in stage 5 pool play. That was something. So if you're playing in stage 4, your ultimate goal is to finish as highly as possible. All right, so we've talked about Europe, LATAM, and North America being as stage 4. You've got 3 teams who need to rank and what you need to do to qualify. what I wanted to cover here is India and Japan. For India, for that day 2 spot, say you make it past this Swiss style elimination. Again, you must win 2 before you lose 2 to qualify for day number 2. Now, for India, there's only 2 spots remaining. The only 2 teams that are going to qualify are the teams that are left in the grand finals. For the Japan region, the team who wins the grand finals are going to be the team who moves forward to stage 5. This is going to be massive, not only because you know there's a massive amount of prize pool for stage 4, but if you are a team that is competitive and wants to move on to stage 5 for India, you've got to finish in the grand finals here for day 2. And if you're Japan, you've got to win the whole kit and caboodle. So this is going to be intense. Now, the dates for all of the qualifiers are going to be... All right, YouTube, that is basically how your team can make it to stage 4. Obviously, with different regions come different amount of teams able to move on. That's quite all right. Your team has a shot just like everyone else. Stage 4 is going to be all of this month. And guys, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Turn those notifications on. We're going to be having some more banger videos like this moving forward. Go ahead and smash that like button too as well. As, you know, got to get that algorithm going. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead and drop that like. Until the next time, guys, we'll see you then.